Ladies and gentlemen, we'd like to welcome you to another edition of Texan Tailgate. We appreciate you all being here. My name is Forrest. I'm joined by Hexy Quinn. I'm joined by David Lee. And I'm joined by Immutable. Yo, what?
What? Yeah.
Let's see how long I can rock this before the man himself.
Hexy Quinn. That's a good look. I dig it.
It is.
I couldn't find any whatever the hell he wears, but these are pretty close, huh?
Well, I support it. I think you should always rock and roll with that. That's a heckin' look right there. I'm gonna get some background music for us. Oh, look at that. Is that Hexy Rags? You already got people in the chat. What's up, chat? It's good to be here with you all. And I want to give a shout out first. We got Rad Max is first in the building. And honestly, I think from what I've heard, we should bring on Rad Max at some point as well. So I hope everyone's had a great week. How has y'all's week been? Tell me about it.
Great. At V3.
Yes.
Wind pulse chain.
Anytime.
I want to talk about my work week.
Yeah, shoot. No, we're looking forward to not working, right?
Right. Well, working on what we want to work on, right?
Exactly.
That's it. And that's what the future's about. It's a bright future for us all. I'm getting confused of which screen is which, so I've got to move some things around real quick. How's everything been going for you, David Lee?
It's been a wonderful week. We had really good news, great scans from states, and everything else is just flying high.
Man, I'm super glad to hear that, man. That's so awesome. Good news in the family. Good news in the family. How about you, Immutable? You've been kicking it, my man?
No, I've been recovering from that cold from last week. The cough's still kind of hanging in there, so hopefully it won't be too bad tonight. But doing well.
Yeah, dude. Well, I'm glad to hear that, man. And everyone looks like they're in good health. And I dig what it's done to everyone's voices. You have like a lower timbre to them, so it's like real smooth. So I can deal with that. Godfather J6 in the house. We got Crypto Compassion. Thank you all for being here. Hex Force 1. What's up, Tex Hexicans? What's up? Hexy Quinn, how are you in multiple times and spaces? Good Lord have mercy. You transverse.
I'm everywhere.
Got to give a shout out to KD here. We got J Diggity. I like to say that, J Diggity. J Diggity Dog. All right. So for everybody who's new to the channel, we get together and we chop it up. We talk about crypto. We just get together and have a good time. So we appreciate you all being here. Thank you for being returning consumers of this content that is so wildly put together. Hopefully everyone's digging it so far. If there's any improvements that we can make, just always be sure to let us know. We want to get together with you and have a good time. We're gonna jump in here in a second. Immutable is gonna be blessing us with a little bit of alpha. We're gonna do a segment here in a moment, and we'll dive right in. Let's see real quick. So if you all were a flavor of ice cream, this is while I'm just going through the chat. If you all were a flavor of ice cream that defined you, what flavor would you be and why? I'm going to start with you, Hexy Quinn, because I know you probably thought about this. Yeah.
Mint chocolate chip.
Ooh. Why's that?
Well, because you always have to have good breath. My favorite color is green, and I like chocolate. I don't know.
Beautiful. I mean, I dig it. That's perfect. Immutable. What about you? What flavor ice cream are you?
I saw Chris psychedelic, or I don't even know what that's pronounced, but cookies and cream. So he stole mine, but I'm gonna go with some sort of brownie batter or salted caramel.
That's good. I can see that. And David Lee, what about you, my man?
I think it's got to be cotton candy, right? It's
Yeah.
just super sweet and milk.
That's
I don't know
sweet.
about that.
That'll make you go blind. That's because you're the sweet one, right?
Yeah.
A little bit. I was going to say orange pineapple because it's just my favorite from it's a one-off family-owned ice cream factory. Been in Millersport, Ohio since 1930s, handmade, homemade, fresh. You ever get there? Give it a shot.
Interesting. I'm gonna go with Rocky Road.
There you go.
I'm gonna go with Rocky Road because I feel like it defines me just in the title. It's been a long way to the top, as some rapper would say. I don't remember who that was, but it was somebody.
It was multiple
Crypto.
of them.
and Rags to Riches. He started from the bottom. Now he's here. Crypto Heartbeat in the chat. Let's go. Good to see you, my friend.
And watch out.
I know we got to be on the P's and Q's now.
I don't know. He's been kind of spicy lately.
Yeah. I like that. Yeah, that's too good. All right, folks. We're going to say hey to Chris Side Effects, man. I love what you do, man. I wanted to give you a shout out. Also, I went onto your YouTube channel and I listened to some of your jams, and I gotta say, you can throw down, brother. You can throw down. Anyone who's interested in D&B as well as like any other EDM style music, definitely check out Chris Side Effects. He's got some good stuff on there. So let's get this thing rolling here. I'm gonna switch up the music. Sometimes you guys will have to remind me because it's on loop. So if it gets monotonous, just tell me, hey, Forrest, switch it. All right, folks. So we're going to jump into the content here in just a second. I'm going to go through and just shout out a few more people and we'll get on with it. We're going to go My Online Ghost, Crypto Compassion. Thank you for always being here. Thank you for always showing support. Yeah, everyone in the chat, feel free to communicate with us as well. We would love to chat back and forth with you. If you want to hop in, also let us know and we'll get you a link. Because we can host up to 10 people in here, so the more the merrier, and then we can just chop it up all together. So please.
It's the whole point of the tailgate. Bring everyone in, give them some barbecue, bring them some beer. I'm in.
That's right. Man, I had some good grilling food today. I sent you all a photo of it. Man, I whenever I say I was physically heavier at the end of it, I was, and I am still. So we're gonna get on rolling with it. So we have a segment here that Immutable does, and it's called a Whale Watch. So we're gonna jump into that right now. Let's get it going, and we're gonna cut this music. Let's get it going. This is Whale Watch, y'all. All right, Immutable, what you got for us this week, brother?
Sure. So obviously everyone's a little excited. You know, we got V3 out finally. First things I want to touch is if you go on texan.cc/stats, you'll notice that since last week we passed the 5,000 stake mark. So congratulations, everyone! 5,000 stakes. Also, you see on there over 400 million penalties have been burned. So that's 400 million Texan that no longer exists. It's gone forever.
Ryan! Was I not muted, guys?
No, it is loud and clear.
Mike, sorry, my dog. I'll be right back.
I got you.
Bell watch turned into dog watch. So we, as everyone knows, V3 launched. Everyone's super excited about that. And so one of the things I wanted to do first was kind of touch on a few things that some of you, if you're following the chat, if you're following our boy Bobby, coming in there every time someone buys, you'll notice the price going up and down as the buys come in. And so one of the things we saw was right after V3 launched, we had a significant price, well, not as significant for crypto, but significant price drop from about, I think it was around mid 0.5. And when I say 0.5, 4 zeros before that. So 0.5 all the way down to, I think 0.38 or 0.42 or something like that. Which then got quickly ate back up and led to the price rebounded really quickly, which is really cool to see. But expect these sort of once Pulse Chain mainnet launches, I just want to warn everyone, let everyone know that it's probably going to happen again. Like that's just natural. People are going to be chasing the latest pump. So I think you're going to see that with a lot of the Richard Hart ecosystem coins. So Pulse Dogecoin, Maxi, Hedron, Icosta, all of them, along with Texan. I think you're going to probably see some sort of move from those coins into Pulse Chain and Pulse Stack. People are trying to catch that early pump there. So if anyone's got any questions, that's why it's going to be happening.
Understood. Well, now this is a pretty common occurrence too, right? Whenever things like this happen, or whenever there's forks of anything, this is stuff that we normally see.
Yeah, absolutely, and especially with a project like this, we're less than 90 days in, or almost 90 days in, something like that, and so we're very early still, and the price has been holding very well. I think right now, let me pull it up. Right now, we're sitting at, I don't know which screen I have it on. Here we go. So I think it was like 0.47 or 0.46, something like that, just before, when I was looking at it before I came on here. So it's been holding that line for a couple days now, and it's been doing that really well since basically one of the guys I'm going to be talking about here in a second, so I won't spoil it, basically sold down and then bought back in. The price rebounded back up, but it's been holding well since. So today I just wanted to talk about 3 different wallets and basically 3 contrasting stories, 3 different kind of styles, I guess you could say. So first one, I'm going to talk about that wallet that sold. So this is last 4 is DB0A. So over the course of the first 60 days of the token, he had been consistently buying TEXAN. He had been market buying. I think he got airdropped. Let's see, maybe like 1 million. I think it was just like the standard 1 million. He got airdropped, and then had been market buying TEXAN, increasing his position from the beginning. And then I guess it was about 10 days ago now. Maybe it was a little sooner than that. But about 10 days ago, market sold TEXAN once V3 had launched. And so we saw the price take a big dip. And then very shortly after, so maybe 6 days ago, 7 days ago, he was the one that you saw Bobby come in there with a massive buy order. And it was the largest one I think we've seen Bobby say. And he used Uniswap. And so if you're following the chat, what we want to show you is like, all right, so one, this guy's been buying from the bottom. He's been DCAing in consistently, which is exactly what we preach, and then took some profit. Although I think if you followed the chat, we could say there was there are a couple better ways to take profit. And so he ended up kind of losing out on some profit there. But I think we handled that in the chat pretty well. If anyone's out there like using CowSwap to basically avoid those bots coming in and basically stealing your money.
Mm-hmm.
So I think the verdict on this guy is like, he's a believer in TEXAN. He's been buying from the beginning and then sold to take some profit and then bought back in, but he ended up losing out on a lot of the position just by the way he did it. So wallet number 2 is AA4. So this was another large wallet. All these wallets I'm going to be talking about have had, I think the smallest one had 8 billion. So this guy also only airdropped about 1 million TEXAN from this wallet. He also has airdropped another 20 billion from another wallet, which he then sent some of to the AA4 wallet that I'm going to be talking about. Mm-hmm. So all throughout the last, I think, 60 to 65 days, he's been providing liquidity on Uniswap. So a significant amount of liquidity on Uniswap. Like I think one of the positions was 20K USD plus the equivalent amount in TEXAN, and then another was 50,000 USDC plus a fairly equivalent amount in TEXAN. And so he's been coming in and out of those liquidity positions, extracting some of the fees and extracting some of the dollar value, but continuing to build that position while also gaining or extracting that value. And so it's a very responsible way, a very smart way to continue building your bag while extracting that value. And so that's what we kind of encourage a lot of the larger wallets that would like to take profit to do. You can go out there and market sell, and you're going to lose a lot on slippage, but that's your prerogative,
right?
And so then the last, our golden boy of the night, which is I forgot to write down the address, but very very beginning, airdropped 8.3 billion, held liquid until about 15 days ago, and then he made a couple 500 million TEXAN stakes on the 17th. So he was feeling lucky on St. Patrick's Day, and he got very lucky. He got in, staked about, I think it was a couple billion, and then he saw how lucky he was, and on the 24th he staked all the rest of it. So
wow,
3 billion staked right now. And so that was one of the I think it was a top 25 wallet from the initial airdrop. If you exclude like the team and all that.
Dude, that's huge.
Oh, absolutely. So just everyone out there, like we have a lot of benevolent whales in this system. If you look at there are tons of examples like this. You go on Etherscan, you download the CSV, and you just sort by the amount of transactions, and you can see that there's people out there with billions and billions of Texan that are out there staking it. There's some out there providing liquidity in a responsible manner that's holding up the price or keeping the price solid for the rest of us, and while still extracting profits. So,
man, dude, thank you for doing that research too. It's super eye opening, and like it helps me out a whole lot as well. Just like knowing what's going on in the environment.
Yeah, and one other thing. So I know Rags mentioned it earlier, but this is kind of going back to my initial point about when mainnet launches. So I think one of the things you're seeing right now is you're seeing a lot of those liquidity positions being pulled right now, basically to protect themselves. So like we had a number of examples where Ethereum's been forked in the last 6 months. I think ETH Proof of Work and ETH Fair or whatever they're called. I never really got into them, so I forget what they're called. But a lot of those liquidity positions that were basically nuked. And so a lot of people are starting to learn their lesson and are starting to kind of pull back on the liquidity in prep for Pulse Chain launch. So that's one thing to kind of also look for as we start moving closer to Pulse Chain mainnet. So just everyone be aware.
No doubt, man. Yeah.
Sorry?
I got a question for you.
Go for it.
Of any of those, it's not just Texan, but across the board, a lot of these tokens are going to have that instance with liquidity providing being pulled, right? Are there any of those that you would say would be a proxy tell for Pulse Chain launch?
Sorry, what did you? I missed I heard proxy and then I missed something.
Tell. Might be a token or a liquidity pool that has a connection that might have an insight when Pulse Chain's going on.
I think Richard's been pretty close to the vest, so I don't know that we're necessarily going to be able to see. Maybe you watch some of the biggest whales, the biggest liquidity positions. I'd have to do more research. I'm not an expert in this. I just kind of go on there and given my government work effort and see what I can see. So I'm not an expert by any stretch of the imagination, but I imagine if you look at some of those whales that have been in the Hex ecosystem for the past 3 years and have been large liquidity providers, I imagine kind of following what they're doing might be an indication of what some others are doing. But I don't know.
Yeah, jury's out.
Yeah. That was a good question.
Shoot, yeah, man. Shoot, yeah. Now, looks like we have someone else who's going to be gracing us on the stream as well. I'm going to pull them in here in just a second, make sure that they're ready. But real quick, I just want to go through the chat again, man. Like, Immutable's done some really some hardcore research here for us. So if anyone has any questions for him, be sure to throw them into the chat. Just want to say what's up to Rich Liberation. Samantha, I see you in there. I'm wondering where you're at. You can be up in here. We'd love to have you. We got actually a couple people in the backstage now. We're going to bring them in. Sam, it was so nice having you last week, and we would love to have you back again. So be sure to cop in whenever you have time with us. But this next guy doesn't really need an introduction, and if you want the introduction the way it's properly supposed to be given, you should probably tune in to Crypto Heartbeat's channel. But he is a king, some kind of a Kamehameha from Goku, and it is rags to riches. Did I get that delivery right at the end? Is that how he does it?
Nobody can do it like Matt. That's for damn sure. So.
No, man. And this next fellow, I don't believe he needs any introduction either. We got Crypto Compassion in the chat as well. How's it going?
Dang.
Hey guys.
Man, this is wonderful.
I shook this dude's hand, and his hands are made out of concrete, believe it or not. He almost broke my hand in half. I remember that dude. Strong dude, man. You're working, man, not me. Golly.
Dude. What's been keeping you all up at night? What have you been excited about? I know everyone's ready for Pulse Chain. We got any estimates? Anyone's like want to make any brave guesses?
Don't know. May
On May
15th is
1st.
May 1st, May sometime. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
No, I can hear that. I feel that.
Immutable. You were talking about. Oh my gosh.
You're still in my background. I had
Oh.
to change it.
Still
Isn't it
my
cute?
background. One of the things we need to look at is the movement of that die in that sacrifice address, wallet address, especially if that bridge opens up and then something gets bridged over to a Pulse Chain wallet. Pulse Chain doesn't necessarily have to be up and running for the public. So I'd say a big tell, David Lee, is definitely, let's take a look at that die and see what's happening there in the sacrifice wallet.
Yeah, it's the number one Stack Wallet's the number one holder of DAI, right? Or this has been or was for a little while.
230 mil, maybe.
That was my think like Brandon question, by the way.
Yeah, that was good, man.
Hey, Crypto Compassion, for those who may not know you in the chat, could you give us a little rundown, my friend? Like, I've seen you a couple of times on here, but I would love to hear from where you are in the community. Yeah, man, please.
I don't know how. I kind of started out trying to do a little bit of some videos and what have you, and then work kind of got ahead of me, and I kind of stopped looking at, my involvement. I think we got an echo. Is that on my side?
Definitely is an echo. I've been hearing it the whole time.
Okay. Just full speed ahead.
Yeah, go right ahead. I'm gonna double check everything on this side. It looks like it's clear.
Not bad for us. You can hear people,
But just to give it like some reference and some timestamps, really I kind of got into hacks back in March of 2021, was kind of degening around with a bunch of other cryptos. I found ADA pretty early. I kind of liked what Charles kind of spoke of, and but really I kind of stumbled upon Richard probably in like December of 2021, wearing some top hat with a bunch of women, kind of dismissed him like, what the heck is this guy doing? Didn't really buy into it. And then there was a fella named Joe Perry's that kind of brought me on to Hex back in March of 2021. Fell in love with it, was in a great position with a bunch of other cryptos that I just pretty much sold out of everything and backed the truck up with Pulse Chain, was in a good position for PulseX. I really got into some techs in there, enjoy what you guys are doing. I'm not spread out in a lot of areas, really. I spent a lot of time in Twitter just kind of being a cheerleader and trying to help, push the community forward, and I do plan on being more involved with streaming and stuff like that in the future. Part of my history is that I do know that I'll be in a pretty solid position between Hex, Pulse Chain, and PulseX, that I'll be able to be full-time here and probably get rid of that job and just start changing the world. We always talk about setting the captives free and, doing the things that we see that are kind of wrong in this world and that we want to improve upon. And I just want to be a part of that. I know I can be. And so that's exciting.
Nice.
Very nice, man. That is inspirational too. Yeah, I think what you said, the setting the captive free, is one of the things that really it steals my attention in a lot of ways, in a lot of positive ways, because I also find myself daydreaming and fantasizing about like what I can do to improve others whenever the time comes. It's not if ever the time comes, but I feel like we all know inside of us, and we can all feel inside of us that something magical is happening in the background. And man, it's so inspiring to hear other folks have that same outlook on things and put it out there,
So the thing that concerns me, Crypto Compassion, is the throwback Jordans from 1987 that you have in the background.
Yeah, like those?
Yeah, they're pretty small, so I have more questions than answers.
They're actually my son's.
Got it. Just making sure. Yeah. If they were yours, that would have been weird, dude.
Yeah, no, they're son's baby shoes.
Nice, dude. Nice.
Yeah.
And pretty much
kind of like, what's that?
What's up? What's up?
No, I mean, just kind of that kind of draws into like a lot of the stuff I've been kind of feeling. Like, you know, I've been kind of harping on making dads great again, and I really feel like we're in a position, you know, with crypto in this community. I don't think any of this is just by chance. I think a lot of us are like a lot of us in this room and in this community, it's not by chance. And I really feel like we have a great opportunity to make change. And I feel like, Rags, I think you're in a position to really kind of uplift and edify and encourage males to become stronger men in this community, in the world. And I think that's something that we need to push forward, is making men strong, making women strong in their roles. And I'm excited.
Yeah. You know, the crypto part's really cool for me. And I've said this quite a few times on my streams, man, but we got some big fish to fry in this world. And it's going to take some people, some balls to stand up and say it. So that's what we're doing out here. For me, it's more than it's more than crypto. It's more than Twitter. It's more than followers. It's about getting the right message out, because at the end of the day, that's what's going to make the world a little bit different. So we got to do it. Got to do it.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I mean, I couldn't agree more with all fronts of it, like empowering us. And I think that being at the forefront and in the trenches, so to speak, of being vocal about stances in regards to what we feel are morals that we should stand behind. And I think that those are all things that are empowering to the community, and it gives a voice to the voiceless. And I mean, I know that it has spoken to myself and others who wouldn't have necessarily found crypto without that message being intertwined with it, that narrative to be intertwined with it. So I'm hugely excited for it all, man. Let's see what we got here.
Actually, what do you call it? Sugar and spice? I think the whole community has got some, yeah.
Yeah, Matt's the sugar, Rags is the spice.
I think that culture goes through all of us now. Because, yeah, there are some lines where, you know, we just got to stand. We're not going to stand at the same time. We want to hug everyone.
Metamucil.
Dude, I've got him by 5 years.
You got him by 5?
I got him by 5 years, yeah.
Well,
you're older than him by 5 years, David?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh.
Hey, here's an interesting question for you all. See if anyone's got the answer for it. Any way you can estimate how many Texans are new coiners?
That's difficult. I guess the best estimate that we have is, if we look at the donation phase, there was about 1,000 people, I believe, that donated with cash to the TNM, and that could be indicative of people who don't have any exposure to crypto. Hey, Forrest, I think you go ahead and mute, because I think it's coming from you. Okay. Yeah. All right. So yeah, probably, I don't know at this point. I really don't know. I think most of the holders are definitely crypto people, and that's because we airdropped so much supply to so many people who claimed. But the actual active wallets, without that airdrop, I'd really like to say I'd like to say it's about 50-50, quite honestly. I don't really think that's a stretch of the imagination based on what we've seen. Now, obviously, as things have launched, that probably is switched, that ratio, because you have a lot of visibility on ranking websites. You have a lot of visibility on Twitter, and then all the degens like to come and ape in and all that. But it was pretty sizable from the start, and we were pretty excited about that.
Yeah, that's a good assumption, like an estimate on it too, because I mean, that's what I kind of felt as well. Whenever you all are bringing in like tokenizing communities, I would imagine that the initial buy-in from existing communities would be relatively close to that of the people who are accepting, who are no coiners. I've been trying to advocate to my family in the 60 plus range.
Mhm.
And I would say on average that 40 to 55% of them are interested and will listen to more, and the remainder are stuck in their ways. Maybe is that, I don't know if that's the right term. Maybe it's not fair to them, but that's what it feels like. Scared, maybe.
Scared. It's difficult. We've all been through it. It's I think probably the best thing that we can do to get people involved is to, like gift them free token, because that gets them checking. You can, one thing that I like to do, I don't know if you guys are familiar with this. You can set up an app called Delta on people's phones. And what Delta allows you to do is go in, add a manual transaction. So you can actually, it reads all the liquidity pools out there. It takes a global average of the price of the asset. It doesn't connect to your MetaMask or anything like that. You can just go in and create a manual transaction. Okay, it was bought at this day for this amount, and this is how much I bought. And you can hand it to that person, put it on their phone, and say, hey, if you ever want to see how much your stuff's worth, just open this app. Boom. There's no security risk or anything like that. So that's probably the best way. If you get it in people's hands and they can see it, then they get excited about it.
Yeah, I'd 100% echo that. I know talking to some of the people that I gifted some people Texan like smaller amounts, and like they've been contacting me over the past number of weeks, and they've been like, "Wow, are you seeing this?" And I'm like, "Yeah, man, I am seeing this. I promise you, I'm seeing this."
Yeah.
And they're just getting super excited. They gift them a little bit, and then they see it. Right now we're at what, a 5x, 6x from the bottom, and 5-ish X from the first liquidity.
Yeah.
So I mean, they're very excited.
So cool, man. So cool. Let's see here.
What are other tools and like other means outside of Delta? Like whenever you all go, like, so like I know Rags, you went to a university, and like we're talking to an audience there. Like what are some of the things that you lead with and have reception back, positive reception or just open reception?
So when you got to break it down for people, if they're there to listen to you about crypto, then you have the opportunity to build them up from square one. And I had 8 hours that day to do that. So, I mean, we went like, I broke it down to the history of money and how things were exchanged, and how I was talking about how people in Africa, they use those prepaid phone cards as means of exchange to swap credits back and forth amongst people. One guy runs into the city, loads up a card, then divvies it out, and then they just kind of, that's how they operate, because they have these little cell phones that they can transfer balances amongst each other. And you just build them through, like, what is our current economic system? How does that operate? And then you ask, okay, what is cryptocurrency? Why do people find value in cryptocurrency? And you just, so that's probably the best way to do it, in my opinion, to get them to a very, very basic understanding, an understanding that allows them to start asking their own questions. That's what I say all the time, because if they can formulate their own questions based on the knowledge that they're given, then you've kind of multiplied yourself. Multiplicity, boom. They go to Google, Chat GPT, wherever the hell they go. So that's important. Just teaching them as much as possible. And Mobius was there the whole time. That's right.
Yeah, he just commented in the chat saying it was an amazing class.
Yeah. So it really was a really, really cool class. Really great class. I didn't get bananas or tomatoes thrown at me. That's a positive. However, if some of you guys are in chat, I'm sure you would have Crypto Compassion, Hexaquin for sure.
Yeah, next time.
Yeah.
I'm there.
Yeah.
Growing bananas.
I know it.
I know you don't want to hear it, Rags, but I was talking to Hexray on the phone, and he said he felt like he just didn't have that much compared to what you were throwing down. And I think that goes to speak to a lot of your experience. and the trials and tribulations you've had to go through to gain the knowledge that you have and be able to articulate that to people that don't understand crypto. So hats off to you on that. I know you guys put in your time there, and that's pretty awesome, especially having that platform to speak to a university. And I think that'd be really cool if we could do more universities in the future.
Yeah, I've been in contact with the event coordinator, so they want to bring us back. And there's an HBCU up in Northern Virginia who might have me over there as well. So that's pretty cool too. But I'll tell you this, guys, there are days when I still feel like I'm over my head in some ways, like, because the technology and the knowledge is just so vast and so deep and so far and so wide. It's like you say, all right, I'm going to pick one path. I'm going to try to master this path. But then while you're learning that, 20 other paths open up at the same time. And I'm saying this to tell people, like, it's okay if you feel overwhelmed by crypto, because it's crazy. It's absolutely crazy if you want to understand it, if you want to get to know it. So, but you just keep going down that path, and one day at a time, learn.
Yeah, it's completely nuts. Like I worry about the no coiners or the new coiners so much because I've been in crypto for years and there's still so much I don't understand, and it's not because I'm dumb.
Right.
There's just so much. And I worry about them feeling like they should know more than they do, but that's just not true. Like it's a lot. It's a lot to learn.
Yeah, I guess it's equivalent to, like, imagine that you were investing in traditional finance. So you got to learn all the tax rules and the 401ks and the mutual funds and all that sort of ETFs. But then you have to learn how the computers make the trades. You got to learn coding. So it's kind of like that. If you want to kind of think about it in those terms. So, but you don't have to do that in traditional finance. They probably don't want you to know how to do that in traditional finance. So that's where we are here. But it's cool. It's really, really cool because the stuff that you guys know right now, there's like one half of 1% of the world that knows what you guys right here know right now or in chat. And that's going to be very valuable for you moving forward in the future because people will look up to you guys. And Immutable, good job on the chain analysis, by the way, too. You're picking that up real well.
Yeah, I'm just trying. I was just, as Crypto Compassion was talking about ADA back in March of 2021. I was remembering one of the early Rags to Riches messages back when it was 3 or 4 of us, and you said, ADA is looking pretty good right now at about 10 cents. I'd maybe think about picking up a bag, and I was like, that means I gotta go in there and create a Binance account. And I was on Coinbase at the time, and so I was a little lazy, and ADA wasn't listed on Coinbase, so missed out on a number of gains. And so I would say, like, other than not getting into Hex earlier, probably missing ADA at 10 cents was probably I would say that's one of my 2 or 3 biggest misses or like regrets right now.
Yeah. What did it go? It went to like 260 or something?
Yeah, it was like 260, 275, something like that.
Yeah.
I think right before there was some like update that they were like thinking about adding. Everyone was thinking it was going to go to 5, but then it was one of the buy the rumor, sell the news type of thing. And so after it kind of went back down for a while. But I ended up cashing that out a little while ago.
Cool, dude.
What's going on, dude?
What's up?
I gotta put my hat back on. Everybody's wearing a hat.
Yeah. You gotta do it. Put the vibes back on too.
I know. I heard that there needed to be some more sugar. There was too much spice in here. With that, I thought I smelled some curry.
Curry.
There you go.
Yeah.
I thought I smelled some flaxseed. Did I smell flaxseed, or was that?
Yes. Yeah. No.
Okay.
That's the Metamucil.
They call you Grease Lightning, bro. Shoot right through
you. That's right.
Oh, so how you doing, Matt? How's life there?
Well, we had a tornado warning, and so we were out watching storm chasing. It just went north of us.
Wait, hold on. You had a tornado warning, so you went out after the tornado.
Well, out in the back, I got some great photos. I posted on Twitter.
Cool.
But yeah, it was amazing. But yeah, I like that stuff. My son gets very, very scared. But hey, I've got amateur meteorologist in me. Got to check it out.
There is a YouTube video floating around somewhere on the internet of me storm chasing hurricane. I forgot which like Hurricane Irene, I think.
Really?
Yeah, I went to Walmart, got a camcorder. And I was like, I'm doing it, dude. And I was updating people. I'm on Facebook. I'm taking stuff. And it was so funny because I'm like at the ocean front and the waves are crashing. And I'm like, yeah, look how crazy this is. But the winds are crazy whipping. And I'm just trying to, I'm being funny, but at the same time, I love it. And here comes like two dudes in short shorts, just like riding their bicycle down the boardwalk. I'm like, damn it.
So you zoomed in?
Well, I didn't zoom in, but they shouldn't. Based on how enthusiastic I was about the storm, they should not have been able to be riding a bike in those extremely high winds, but they were very easily. So
You'd be a good guy on the Weather Channel.
I would be. Jim Cantori, man, watch out, buddy. Watch out.
Yeah.
We used to one Friday night.
Say what?
We had a tornado warning Friday night, Matt.
Yeah.
Oh.
There's been a lot of. This is the time of year, man. Yeah, Indiana's gets some pretty good storms through there. Not like Oklahoma, but yeah, it's pretty rough.
Yeah, no kidding. I always thought it'd be pretty exciting and exhilarating to go and chase them. I mean, like the movies, grab the little UFOs and throw them inside of it and get photos of it and everything. I mean, that sounds like a pretty exceptional life.
Twister, yeah, man. Dorothy,
yeah.
I think that was the name.
Brandon will bring his Pulse Chain 3000 with him, and he can shoot it up into the storm.
Negative. Water spout, maybe, Matt, but
okay.
Yeah, you're not being realistic right now. I just don't get it. How about this guy, Matt? Crypto Compassion. What do you know about this guy?
Besides the fact that he's got the strongest handshake on the planet.
Told you, man.
Yeah, he's built. But you were I saw you next to all those server nodes. Are you setting up nodes on Pulse Chain?
I will, but that was actually kind of a April Fool's spoof. Those are some servers at work, and if you follow the video through, I walked out of the room and it was just like a sawmill where I work, so it was kind of like a spoof. But it was just trying to get the rouse of RH Max and who else we got there? David Feeder, who are doing great in the community. So no, I want to probably throw up, at least maybe like 10 to start, and I don't, it's confusing stuff, so I don't want to like put myself in a position where I shoot myself in the foot by all means, but I do want to support what we're trying to build as far as decentralizing things. So that's great.
Well, I was talking with the folks at Mad Energy.
Yeah,
they've got all of these server farms, and they're actually going to be, I believe, setting up nodes that are real easy. So it's a new architecture, but it's real easy and real inexpensive for anybody to basically host their own node. So I'm going to be connected with him this week, and he just wants to share that because they've got all this server space and want to help out the Pulse Chain community, which is cool.
That would be awesome. Yeah, I've thought about many of people that I know that are in that kind of space, like of trying to like piggyback on their, infrastructure and how they always have that redundancy. And, no one wants to go down for whatever reason if they're on vacation and they come back and your power is off for a week and you're like, oh no, I got slashed, and all that kind of stuff. So there's definitely a lot of technical stuff that, that comes into it. As you guys know, building what you guys have built, it's definitely, software's confusing, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
How much time goes into it? Like, like building, the coding and like the writing. I've always wondered, like I have relatives who are in the software development space, but like there has to be so much to it all. Like what goes on behind the scenes? Maybe you guys can provide some insight.
I think there's a lot. There's a funny thing that happens between developers. because I'm a translator and been a translator over the years between developers, and there's kind of a secret behind the scenes of developers. The ones that are really good are the ones that solve problems. They're the ones that really are thinking through and meeting your needs and those type of things. But it's really amazing how far things have come when it comes to resources that exist. So, somebody could get into development work as far as coding pretty simply, but could make a lot of mistakes. And then there are senior guys who they understand the full stack, right? They understand it from the server config perspective all the way through to the UI. And, when you get guys like that, what I find is they're just good at solving problems rather than writing code, because code is almost irrelevant at this point of, from their perspective. So guys like Ryan and Ray, they just want to know, what do you want to accomplish? And they'll figure out what it takes to accomplish it. Whereas I think that there's, some people, I mean, you can write a smart contract with ChatGPT, and that's dangerous, right? Or people can go in and cut and paste stuff. And I think a lot of people, you have to kind of test them, because right now people say they're coders when they're really cut and pasters, and they don't really understand the deep architecture or understand how things work. And, that's the thing I'm really satisfied with our guys, with Ray and Ryan, is they've got the battle scars. They've been doing it for long enough that it's irrelevant what the syntax is. It's more of what problem are we solving?
Very cool. Yeah, being able to answer the questions before they're asked in a way.
Well, it's like you, Forrest. You helped me out with all my sound stuff. The same things that you did, that you could hear in the audio, and you understood all the different levels of EQ and compression, and you understood that in detail. It's the same thing, but it's just a different vernacular, but it's that level. It's the same level that you have with the audio engineering. They understand to that level from a code perspective.
That must be what attracts me to it. I mean, because it seems like a really awesome brain exercise.
Yeah.
Oh, looky here. We got another one to happen on the stream here. Let's see who we.
The
Is
man,
it
the myth, the legend.
Gare Bear? Is Gare Bear? There he is.
Gare Bear.
What's up?
How did we get so lucky, man?
My sister calls me Gare Bear, or she did when I was a kid. Yeah, it's good. It's good to be here. I just was touring through what was live on YouTube, and saw you guys were streaming. That's pretty cool. I didn't know there was a tailgate happening.
Yeah, man. We got the hamburgers and hot dogs. I got some leftovers. You come on over.
I love it.
Every Sunday.
Is it it's Texan, but is it basically you have to be a Texan or like an honorary Texan? How's it work for this?
So I'll take this one if I can. I wanted to get everyone who is in the crypto space who may be new, as like myself. So I claim to be a complete noob at cryptocurrency. I'll admit it and just claim it, right? I know things, but not enough. So my whole intent was to bring people together in an open environment where we can ask questions that may otherwise be shameful in certain circles, and we can do those more or less risk-free and gain better insight as a community together. It just happens to be that a lot of us, as our first taste of the flesh of cryptocurrency, may be in the Texan or the Hex or Pulse Chain hemispheres and atmospheres.
Very interesting. Yeah, so I saw Brandon and Matt, of course, as far as Texan, and then the background with Hexequin. So I just wasn't sure if it was specific to that particular cryptocurrency. I support it. I like it. I'm from Texas. I'm a Texan by culture. I moved away when I was 17, but I always visit family and things like that. I think of myself more world citizen now, but I like a lot of what Brandon and Matt have put together as far as like the community pools. I think that there's some interesting ideas when it comes to collectives, or basically people have a common goal. In the past, you may have examples like going to the moon, and people basically activated and said, in this decade that we would go to the moon. It's a famous JFK speech. So I like that a lot. I like when people have a common productive goal. And I think it's pretty cool that cryptocurrency is part of our lives now. There's obviously this turbulence about regulation or permissions and technology, whether it's here to save us or ruin us, like the topic of artificial intelligence and things like that. I think that if we focus on our own intelligence, human intelligence, for a while, that's a good cause. So I'm glad that rooms like this come together.
Yeah, man. I want to say thank you for being here too. I've jumped into a couple of Twitter spaces where you've been talking, and you are the reason that I stayed. So I want to say thank you for that, because you have been a great an avenue for me to understand at an expedited pace. Whereas some of the rooms that I've found are more or less folks just throwing things against the wall haphazardly. And so shout outs to you for that. I appreciate that, Gary.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah,
I really only stand on the shoulders of other people that have taken time to be a mentor to me in my life. I'm 52, so I have a lot of experiences, but I only really have maybe 4 or 5 people in my lifetime that I think of as a mentor. And, there were accidental finds, something where I don't think they were really taking charity on me, but, they saw something that was like attentiveness or curiosity and something along those lines that they shared their experiences that I was able to draw on so far. So I think I spoke a little bit about this earlier, and I think it's my pinned tweet right now on Twitter, is about being high agency people, like someone of
the 10. Yeah, I liked that. I read through all of them. That was cool.
Yeah, high agency. I think of maybe in the past, before hearing that catchphrase, I would have thought of like television shows like MacGyver or something like that. Like, so who would you want to call that's going to, save you or rescue you or has the most capability? Maybe it's the Rambo character or something.
Ghostbusters.
Yeah. Who do you call? But really, these are drawn on the characteristics of real people. And, I don't think there's such a thing as a flawless human being that exists right now. But I think that we can have aspirations. So to be high agency to me is, to hold your ground, to stand your position, to define, things like that. I think that that's important to live purpose driven. I like that. And I like where, some of the tools that are available to us through technology platforms is that we can connect, we can connect better. So yeah, I said something about that earlier today. I got invited to Rollo Tomasi's birthday stream that he was doing, and said something about that, and it resonates with me because of people like Hexy, that's been around for so many years, that I've seen a lot of her content on different platforms, Brandon and Matt, so and Crypto Compassion, people that I watch regularly. So appreciate that.
How about that stream funding Gemma Cabana, dude? That was awesome.
Yeah,
I mean, we dove in there, man. I mean, there wasn't a topic we didn't touch.
Well, it's interesting because if you actually have respectful frame, you can talk about topics that 2 people don't have to be aligned with. Like I was taking a devil's advocate position, right? And I still wasn't like saying over and over. I said it a few times. It was like, okay, here's how I think of things, and here's how you think of things, and let's come. There's no right and there's no wrong, but let's eliminate them. Ideas. It was useful. Yeah, I got a lot out of that, actually.
I did too, man. It felt great. That was actually probably I think that was probably the first time that I had the opportunity to disagree with somebody on stream. Disagree with a point. And I loved debating. I love arguing. I try not to do it because 9 times out of 10 I make an ass out of myself. But you had a lot of compassion with me there, Gary. Thank you, man. Nah, we did a good job. I think we did real well.
I think we do well when we're trying to, again, passion, I think, is important even in debate. Passion, yes. Emotionality and things like that, like where it's a tipping point. It's almost like when you roughhouse with your brother. It's all fun and games until you push it too far. and then suddenly, it gets serious, right? So it's the same sort of thing. Like I love that play fighting, that play debate thing. It's
Sure.
like, 'cause you're recognizing that, and your person on the platform of debate with you is recognizing they're socially calibrated. You recognize here's where I should push to clear my point, and here's where I should respect that they're making their point. But like the social calibration is really something useful.
That could make for some good content, some point counterpoint stuff. Have we done that? Has anybody done that before?
No, it's always been like me, even in the past few years. And again, I say this about the culture. I respect Richard and all of the things that he had to do basically to make a lot of noise to get a community around an idea. And it's kind of has been the gladiatorial thing that I thought about. Like people would want to see the slaughter on the field of battle, in debate, that kind of things. Like, oh, I'm attracted to the drama. I can't believe he got him, that kind of thing. And, we are as human beings attracted to the noise in the room, the squeaky wheel, the irritant, the drama, all that stuff. So yeah, like being tactical and still realizing that I don't really want to paint like me personally, like other people may find better use of actually cornering someone, painting them in a corner that they can't exit from. And there's different people that have been advisors to politicians and things like that kind of teach about this stuff. Like, how far do you push to where they can't save face? Like, where is it that you actually turn someone from being, an opponent to an enemy? There's a difference between being an opponent, like a political opponent, versus an enemy. An enemy is, I do not care about facts. I do not care about anything else other than making a mark on your face. That's all I care about. Right. So it becomes that kind of like almost in jail kind of thing. Like, I don't care if I die, I'm going to mark you. Like it becomes that kind of thing, So as long as we stay away from those topics, that kind of, not allowing someone to save face, and also not allowing them to become a martyr. If you don't think that their position is in the right frame, they're still going to have an audience, and their audience is going to see them as a martyr.
Right.
So you kind of want to reproduce, Hydra.
Well, speaking of jail, Crypto Heartbeat, how you doing over there, buddy?
I'm doing great, man. This is awesome. Gary, it's always good to have you on here. You've been chopping it up in the spaces, and I appreciate all you've done to bring us into that. Having us on with Gary Cardone was really cool. We had a conversation with him that was really good, got to know him better. But yeah, do you feel, Gary, like it seems like to me with the Twitter spaces and with the marketing, and that people are getting excited outside of the Hex community about Pulse Chain? Do you feel like you're sensing that? I am, but I'm curious about you.
Yeah, I'm seeing people like some of the first people that made content about Hex I've reconnected with, and it actually taught me a lot behind the scenes. Like Francis, he's known as Lifestyle. I think it was like Crypto Lifestyle. And he was one of the first people that actually made positive content about Richard back when Sunny Decree and some of the other influencers were making terrible content about Hex in 2019. He's a Canadian. I remember like helping him understand some of the Puerto Rico tax stuff back in 2020. So we connected, behind the scenes and things like that. And I'm seeing him like make a lot more content specifically about Pulse Chain now. Like he's done other things over the past few years, and he was at least shark level inside of Hex for a long time. And I think he's even documented that he's sacrificed $150,000. So he's involved, right? And he's making more content now, specifically. So I like that. And then like that conversation that we had with Gary Cardone, he's more interested than ever, partly because of the Twitter engagement, like, the familiar face, the familiar connection, that kind of stuff. So I am booked. I am going to his house on the 15th. So I go to Florida, I think on the Oh no, I go to Puerto Rico on the 10th until the 14th to hang out with Trevor for a little bit, because he's got a lot of connections through his business and a lot of these different platforms that, you know, some people know about, but some people don't. So he's a very connected person. So I'm gonna spend a few days with Trevor, and then I'm gonna go to Gary Cardone's birthday party event and some other social events in West Palm Beach also. So I'll be in Florida, and all these things are basically because they are interested and participating. Like Jason Hartman is sacrificed for Pulse Chain and Pulse X, so he's more interested. You know, he did have a meeting. I arranged a meeting probably like maybe a year ago between Jason, because it's one thing for someone to be in your friend circle and then ask you directly, and that might be the easiest conduit to actually educate the person, but also because they are familiar to you. Sometimes, again, I wouldn't say specifically about Jason, but other people might take advantage of that, right? Now that you have onboarded me because I've taken your time, they don't sometimes respect the time that you voluntarily invested into teaching them the curve. And then 3 months later, 4 months later, when they lost their keys or they didn't pay attention to something that you had them write down and make sure of, it can get a little abusive, right? So I've learned over the past year, maybe 2 years, it's better for me to edify someone else that's known in the community.
Looks like your mic's turned off.
I turned off my mic for a second. I don't know what's going on. There was a live stream starting. But what I've learned is to edify someone else and introduce that someone else as the onboarding method for someone that's close in your friend circle, especially if they're influential. So for Jason Hartman, he was asking me constantly about Hex, and he was asking me, he wanted to get into the next big thing. And I told him, you know, a year and a half now ago about Pulse Chain and Pulse X. And so then I reached out to, instead of me onboarding him, I reached out to Crypto Coffee. I said, hey, let me get you connected. I've edified you a lot as someone that has generated a lot of content. Let me get you on the phone. You know, here's his number. He has your number. And I basically made it so that Matt, Crypto Coffee, could be the onboard, right? Because one, it introduces more people to the community that's familiar for this person, right? And two is it kind of, there's a lot of social cues that you can do. That basically edifying other people is better than you being the person, the one, right? It is. So that worked really well. And so now he's very involved and very interested in all the stuff that's going on with Pulse Chain and Pulse X. Another thing, similarly, it happened with a lot of the collective, which is basically a lot of real estate people, a mastermind real estate group that I'm part of. And, you know, a lot of capital flow came into Hex because Jason had edified, you know, his friend circle, and I'm the reference, you know, or RG3 becomes the reference or whatever, right? So different people. So, yeah, it's worked out beautifully. It's in my best interest for me to edify other people. So when I go to Gary Cardone's birthday event, I want to talk about what Crypto Compassion is up to. I want to talk about Forrest and his drive over, you know, Texan token or kind of community building. He already knows Matt and Brandon, but he doesn't know other people. So it's better for me to edify new parts of the community that I feel have been consistent, like their actions have been congruent with their words, right? So.
Cool.
Yeah, I just want to say that stream that you all did was absolutely insane. Like I loved every single second of it. Like, and it was so well, like it was well orchestrated as far as letting everyone have their piece, and the realization moments that popped off a few times, like the light bulbs you could visibly see on stream. It came through. And I think that Mr. Cordone was he was blown away by everybody, honestly. I mean, that's how it felt, in a good way, in a positive way. And I liked some of the things that he said and some of the exchanges back and forth. especially on Rags and CHB. And Funny Jim, you did a great job at maintaining all of that, because there was a lot of personality in the room,
to say the least.
Well, the interesting thing is, again, they're identical twins, so they're born within minutes of each other, and obviously look very familiar with each other. But it's true that Gary was the ambitious one earlier in life, and his interests, they were trying to be separate from each other. So it's very rare that you find them in the same Twitter space or the same room at the same time. They've actually lived separate lives in a lot of ways, and Gary was interested in the energy sector and in finance. And, I think that Grant lived at his mom's house, his parents' house, until he was, 31 to 32 years old. Like he was more into the dating culture and things like that as a 20-something-year-old. So like they're different personalities, similar, very similar, but different. So, yeah.
A lot like Brandon.
Brandon, did you enjoy my recent trolling of you? I don't know if you really got the video.
You know what? Finding Jim, I was like, is Finding Jim flirting with me right now? Man crush, dude.
Yeah.
Finding Jim, I loved it, man.
When OnlyFans.
Oh,
Yes.
yeah.
Yes.
I was like, yeah, I feel like Finding Jim's dragging me out in the deep end right now.
Gary does have an OnlyFans. You guys know that, right?
Yeah.
Hey, I thought about setting up some just for my lips. Like, I thought that just having like a Native American lip OnlyFans, I feel like there's a market for that.
Well,
share first.
Here's the funny thing though. Like in 2019, 18, probably 18, I remember being in the Telegram rooms and telling people that we're constantly making content in Telegram. You need to secure your brand. You need to, if you're going to be called Crypto Coffee, you need to be Crypto Coffee on everything that is out there. And, Discourse Syndicate and all the things that started to come out. Hexologist, why is he Hexologist 31? Because Hexologist was already taken. And who took it? Somebody else. Like, they saw he was saying something, someone else grabbed it. And so they know it. A lot of them know it. Like some of them like Yash Deep and things like that from back in the day. I've got their handles. Like I when they weren't doing it, I told them, do it. And then 2 months went by. I saw that the handles would still be available on Instagram or YouTube or whatever, or Facebook, pages. And I just sat down and grabbed a lot of different accounts. So I was like, nobody's going to screw me up. So I grabbed everything, including the OnlyFans. So there's OnlyFans with Funding Jim page as a content creator, not as a buyer. But I was like, I don't want to have anybody tag something that's out there.
I have an Only Coins. There's an Only Coins.
There's only everything. There's something
There's
out
nothing
there.
on there, but I did secure my name on there just in case.
Yeah.
Like you said.
And it's funny because things that you think of as mainstream and have been here for a long time, they often, many of them have pivoted from different business models. Like Sprint is a phone company, right? But it used to be multi-level marketing. Like most people didn't know that, right? So there's a lot of different stuff that you're like, wow, that was something else before. It just happened to be a platform that pivoted its business model. So I don't know that I think Snapchat was the same thing. It had pivoted. So like there's different examples. And I was like, maybe OnlyFans won't be for that purpose. Maybe it'll be something else in the future. So I just grabbed it. But now it's the official page for Rags to Riches content.
Yeah. Well, Rags encouraged me to start my OnlyFans, and it was during the COVID lockdown. And it was mostly women over 65 that wanted to watch me empty the dishwasher.
With assless
The
chat.
market speaks. The market speaks.
That's right. And they loved it.
I
They're
love
like,
that story.
here's a man that's actually doing housework.
There was this girl that I used to work with, and she would snap photos whenever we were doing like our work dishes in the back of all of the guys who were at the dish thing, and you'd be like, "What are you doing?" She was like, "Oh, I'm just saving that for later," and it goes to that same thing, man. And so
It was going in her spank bank.
that's exactly her words.
I knew that this was about to go down the hill.
I know it's hard not to.
That quick, I knew it.
So I'll echo it back a little bit to what Funding Jim was saying. I've said the same thing to people in the music circle of who I'm friends with, and like owning your own brand and owning your own place and owning your own piece of history. So like everything is a brand and everything is a narrative. I've heard like Crypto Heartbeat mention that. I've heard Rags. I've heard all of you kind of say that in some way or shape or form. But that is true. Like you want to own it because it's digital real estate. And owning that is a form of not necessarily power to hoard over people, but it can be, because I've tried to buy my business online and they ain't giving it to me for anything cheap. So yeah, I mean, for anyone who is in the chat who may be in any kind of endeavor, I would take heed to the words that were just said, because I think that is that's good alpha knowledge for people who are looking to start something of their own.
Yeah. Well, the Richard gave a really good. Someone should go through some of the older content from 2020. I don't think it was in his original, self-help content, but I remember he made a stream. You could probably use that hexsearch.io tool to find it. But he was talking about how you determine a brand name. Make it easy to spell, not to confuse. Like my Funding Gym thing has been around since 2013, but like if I were to do it over again, I wouldn't have two G's. And Gym is spelled JIMGEMGYM. Like there's different things that if you just said it, people always confuse it, and it's also easier for scammers and fakers and imposters to get around that too. So. But he did say a lot of content about how to build a brand, like to choose a name. And so if you put in Funding Gym into Google, the entire top page, not because I did any SEO, I didn't really do a lot of SEO, but the entire page is Funding Gym accounts. Why? Because Instagram wants to be on the top page. Facebook wants to be on the top page. Snapchat and OnlyFans want to be on the top page of a search. So they have spent millions, if not billions of dollars to be on the top page. And I just happen to be a profile that is recognized as being differentiated on Google. So it's the same thing. Like you should, if you're going to be in anything in the future, whether it's this brand that you currently hold or something in the future, who is it? Hex Monkey and I, and Big Krakowski and I, in 2021, we wrote software to try to help like the branding of hexagons. And I can do a search right now by putting in a name and look to see if it's taken on, I think, 400 different platforms. A lot of them, they're defunct old websites that used to be a search platform, and maybe they've fallen by the wayside and other things became more popular. But like you should do a search to see if your account name is already taken. And if it's already taken on Facebook by somebody, but it's not on these other platforms, really reconsider about taking that name at all. Like work on your brand name, because digital real estate is important. Brand importance, and make it so that you could do a search and then you could just claim the names before you ever tell anybody that you're going to be that brand or that product or whatever it is. Just very useful.
Yeah, that's good pre-production. I didn't anticipate seeing all y'all's wonderful faces tonight. I'm gonna say it. Like, I mean, I'm pretty freaking pumped over here. Like, you can't tell it right now, but my foot is just like bouncing up and down. I don't even know what to ask all y'all. Y'all got too much knowledge for me, bro. I could ask you too many things.
There's a lot. Now, here's what's cool, Gary. This has nothing to do actually with Matt nor myself. This is community set up. I guess you could kind of, it's like a early Discord syndicate type days, So when there's happenings, I guess this will be the way the community comes together and talks about it. So we're really excited about that. Matt and I are.
Yeah,
I love it. I love it.
D. Lee, I like that T-shirt, man.
Special limited edition. I think everyone needs to get one.
That's right, limited edition. Well, as a shout out to, I'm gonna be at a conference called Inc. 23 tomorrow, and through the beginning of the week here, And Tulsi Gabbard and Dennis Kucinich are going to be the headliners there in Austin, speaking with Daniel Miller on Texas independence. And then on Wednesday on DeFi, we'll try to stream those. I'll see if ZZ Tesco can help stream those. But pretty excited about that because there's all these independent thinkers and independent-minded folks. You can go to, I think it's Inc23.io or Inc23 out of Austin, and you can check out that conference. But it's pretty kind of snuck up on us, but it's going to be a good opportunity for us to share not only Texas independence, but also Texan and, you know, all the good things we've learned from Richard Hart about DeFi. I'm looking forward to seeing, you know, who's going to be on this panel and if they really actually represent DeFi well. But yeah, pretty exciting for this week coming up, and hope to bring folks in on that.
Awesome. Are you going to be streaming it or from the place, or is it not going to be the right setting for it?
If they'll let us, yeah. We got to check and see if we can do that from the audience. I don't think there's a problem with it, but we'll double check. You know, at least those two panels, the one on independence and then DeFi.
It's exciting, like all of these things that are happening, like the little tiny micro movements, or like microaggression isn't the right word, but like the small twitches in the muscles, the fast twitch muscles that are happening behind the scenes of what it's gonna entail for the future of like the snowball effect.
Yeah.
For Texan, and also for, like, I mean, for Hex for that matter, everything. Like I know that folks were talking about branding and what the next best thing is to like bring more insight into like the Hex community in one of the Twitter spaces that I was in, and like it's interesting to see like the thoughts that are going on behind the scenes, and like anything that's positive that sheds a good light on the projects and what good that they represent, and it could potentially I don't know what the right word is for it, honestly, but like the things that are going to cause mass adoption.
Yeah,
like
one of those things that's come up recently is there's an independent newspaper called the Dallas Express that reached out to me about Texan Token, because there's a little bit of rumblings in the political realm about the fact that, you know, people don't understand what we did with the TNM, but they look at Texan as, you know, hold on a second, what the TNM's got, you know, a $5 billion market cap on this cryptocurrency, which is obviously silliness. But they see it because they don't understand what it means, and it brings attention to the project. And so, you know, it's beginning. We thought it might happen earlier than this, but it's beginning to happen where people are associating, you know, Texas independence and the TNM with crypto, and they're saying, hey, you know, the price charts helped. But we're starting to get some attention. I think we're going to be explaining that. Brandon and I will be explaining that to a lot of people out in the press circles. And that to me is something that's really unique about this project is, you know, as things heat up here, we're going to have the testimonies at the Capitol building for the committee hearing. You know, we're going to see more and more people talk about Texas independence. There's still the Facebook lawsuit for the TNM. And, you know, we get carried along in that because, you know, I talked to Daniel, and there's just not a lot of people in politics understand crypto. And so it seems like a bit of a dark horse, or, you know, potentially a catalyst for something that gives the impression that, hey, you better watch out, because money drives politics. So it's something that we benefit from with this association and, you know, with the brand. And so, yeah, I think you're going to see more and more of that, where it's not just, you know, trying to get people into crypto, but more of what we really designed the project for, which was tying it to, you know, this political activity that could have a significant utility, which is, you know, birthing a new nation. So I'm seeing it starting to happen, and that's exciting because, you know, that they've got a distribution of, I think, 50,000 with this local Dallas newspaper. I mean, hey, those people are going to hear about the Texan Token.
Matt, I think I've been actually waiting this entire time for that moment. Like, I don't think we're at the starting line until the press starts picking it up.
Yeah.
And we are going to benefit massively, both from the massive amount of negative and the massive amount of positive that comes from it.
Yep.
So I think that's the starting line for us.
Yep. Yeah, totally. So,
I don't know if you're I don't know the best marketing, if it is marketing. Texas was an independent country in 1836 until 1845. And in 1845, it became a state. So it's coincidental. I think your longest stake is a 22-year stake in a Texan token. So if it was a 22-year stake started on 2023, December of 2023 would be a 22-year stake would be coming out on the 200th anniversary of it being a state. So if I don't know, it just depends on like your marketing. Are you trying to say something as far as independence from the United States, and that's the political motivation that it's independent from federal jurisdiction? I need to understand better the objective. I've heard separatist stuff all my life, but I'm not sure about the recent political climate.
Yeah, I don't know that it's. I mean, I think it's loose at this point because we don't have any direct affiliation with the TNM. You know, we just used the donation program as a token distribution. I think it's more of, you know, it can be used in a lot of different ways by a lot of different people. But I think the exposure is we ride the back of, you know, the political wind when it comes to this session and, you know, the House bill and all of that, which is, you know, I think it's going to intrigue some people, and especially in the next go around. So because Texas only is in session for 140 days every 2 years, this next time around, if we're in a bull run and all of these people that have been in, you know, that got into Texan, you know, these regular people in the TNM are going to find themselves in a different position from a financial perspective to be able to invest in political candidates in their, you know, local areas. And one of the biggest issues is, you know, having enough support on the ground with representatives, and, you know, money drives all of that. So it's kind of cool that, you know, it takes time to build up, and we'll get the press this go around if we don't get the referendum. Next time, you better watch out, because all of these people are going to be in a different financial position. And that's what really drives a lot with politics, if, you know, what candidates get in and who they support. So, you know, I think it's inevitable, but it's cool because this hasn't been seen in the crypto space before. We haven't had a direct tie to something as significant as this. It's also polarizing, right? It's not for everybody. But in this kind of clown world we live in, I think we've got a unique opportunity to get some free press, if you will. So we'll see how it goes, but, you know, it's just beginning.
Well, there is more commentary over the next 18 months about what are states' rights.
Yep.
I know that DeSantis is really standing pretty strong on some of the things that were federal mandate or you know, corporate rule, yep, basically, and rejecting some of those things from the position of Florida. And then I haven't stayed current with what's going on in Texas, but it was kind of a refuge also that a lot of people from other states decided to, you know, ride out the storm, so to speak, of 2020 and 21 by moving to Texas, and then later becoming permanent. So I think that, like, the idea of sovereignty, it runs so deep in the culture of Texas, as an example. You know?
Yeah, definitely.
I remember even as a kid, like when I think there was a resistance over going to the 21 years old to drink, because when I was a kid, it was 18. And then I remember when the national mandate happened, when it became federal, and it was 21 across all the states. And I think also there was some resistance, I don't know how long it held out, about 55 being the national driving upper limit as far as speed, or seatbelt laws. You know, some of the things that were happening back when I was, in the 80s when I was a kid. So I remember hearing a lot of the, independence narrative back then.
Yeah.
Now, guys,
a jump, by the way. I got to run.
Okay, be good.
Just be Gary.
Appreciate you all being here. Thank you,
guys. This is Rad. Of course, mute. There you go.
Hi guys.
Rad. So Rad popped into the Telegram. I'd probably say like 4 or 5 weeks ago. I'd imagine probably about 5 weeks ago. Rad is kind of like the community manager, if I remember correctly, for Paraworks. And Brad she's currently, I think she's in Vegas. She lived in Texas, but before that, yeah, Australia before that. Is that correct?
Yeah, so I'm Australian born, but me and Texas have like a history.
Yeah.
I lived in Deep Ellum for a while. I lived in East Dallas. I have a lot of family that live in East Dallas still to this day. My husband, my daughter, and I were living in Hawaii when the whole COVID thing went down. We wanted somewhere to go and farm, and it was just like close. I have family there too, but it started getting really difficult. They had some really crazy mandates, and traveling was very difficult there. So we had enough, and I said, "Hey, I know just the place. Let's go to Texas."
Yeah.
So we went back, and yeah, we also have a family have a ranch out at near Rising Star in Brown County. So yeah, I still have that connection with Texas.
Awesome. So Rad popped in. She's been super supportive and helpful in the chat with folks. And I was able to hop on one of their live streams. I've been in a Twitter space or two with them. They're creating a really, really cool crypto payment system that up until this point, based on the latest update, you guys are in what, 45 states approved possibly?
So we should be able to launch in, we think it's 48 states.
Okay.
New York is kind of a little weird with their stuff, and Hawaii is just a write-off for anything with crypto. If you're a Hawaiian resident, you cannot even sign on to like Coinbase or you can't even go to like a KYC. They won't accept you if you're in Hawaii. It's just, there's a state law there that they want the entire value of a complete blockchain put as a security with a local Hawaiian bank. Like nobody's going to put the entire value of Bitcoin in a Hawaiian bank,
right?
Just to, so that's just, yeah. But it's a crypto payment app that we have coming. So we're also working right now with Prime Trust, and they are the guys that handle all the money for like Binance and crypto.com. So that's what's allowing us to roll this out in all these states. We had originally planned just launch in 4 states and then add continuously, but now we've got access to all the states that they have access to as well. So it's really cool. It'll be just like a Google Pay or an Apple Pay, which I'm sure everybody's familiar with. You want to pay for something, you hold out your phone. The difference is that all of those services, and even though crypto.com and other groups have their own debit cards, you still have to convert your crypto into US dollars and then put that on the card. With us, you will pay in crypto. Our layer 0 DAG system sits underneath all cryptos that we want to onboard. And because of Prime, we have access to 240, I think 245. It's definitely 240 something cryptos that we can bring on board immediately. So the obvious ones, Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, Cardano. We can add other tokens. Obviously, we would need to add Para. Hey, I would love to add Texan. I know there's a lot of us guys over there. We got both now. So we are rooting for Texan. And we would love to see that in stores in Texas, especially if it wants to become an independent nation. How cool would it be to have Texan token as like a national currency in the independent nation of Texas, and you can just rock up to somewhere, it's a gas station, you want to pay for your gas, blip, pay with your Texan token or your Ethereum because you want to stake your Texan token, you don't want to be spending it. So that's what we're going for. And beta should be by July.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, that's a huge hurdle to overcome, trying to figure out how to have mass adoption as
right,
using it as currency or money, right? But step one is just having the ability to be able to do it, being able to walk up to somebody on the street and say, "Hey, can I pay?" in like seconds, so
it has to be less than that. It has to be less than seconds, because if you consider that Bitcoin has something like 6 transactions per second, that is not going to help anybody. Visa, we looked at Visa. They are the biggest processors of any payment system in the world. They're doing 3,000 transactions per second. So our DAG, just so you guys have an idea, and for people who aren't familiar, go and look up what DAG crypto is, because this is a whole new thing. This is not it's not really blockchain. It's like blockchain on steroids. It doesn't build linear, because in blockchain, you build a block. When it's done, you move to the next block. DAG is like the fishing net. It's actually, this is our logo here. You can see that instead of going in a line, it's going in all different directions to find the least point of resistance to get things done faster. Now, when we first started our DAG testing, we were doing 60,000 transactions per second, and we haven't put our foot on the gas pedal yet.
Mhm.
So that's what you have to be able to do. And we can take Bitcoin and do it through our layer 0, because it's not sitting on the top of a blockchain. It's going under the blockchain, picking it up and moving it faster. So we cracked that technology, and what can I say? That's how we do it. But the main thing is, it's cryptocurrency. Everybody says cryptocurrency. Until you can buy something. Now, outside of like a few realtors in New Hampshire who will take Bitcoin for a house at the Free State Project, you can't really use crypto as a currency. You want to buy gas, you want to buy a muffin, you want to buy your groceries for the week. Crypto right now is an asset, not a true currency. So this will be cryptocurrency.
Yeah, I'm looking for. I think I'd asked your tech guy for some of that documentation, and he said that'll be out soon. So I'm looking forward to taking a look to see how it kind of all processes on the back end there. But
absolutely, as you can imagine, there's a lot of patents involved with this technology because everybody wants to be the first to do it.
Right. But yeah, I wanted to bring you on in front of everybody here and just say, thanks a lot for bringing me on your channel and giving me like a whole hour to talk about, talk about Texan. And you guys were really, really good hosts, but you were also enthused about it too. That makes it a lot nicer. So thank you.
Yeah, our holders love Texan and get people see back and forth, and I have people ask me about it all the time. And I mean, that's the thing, crypto is kind of an interesting space where sometimes it can be like a little cultish, or people get like super maxi on any one particular token. But I think that's one of the beautiful things about being more of a fintech company than, we're not just a token, is that, we are here to try to onboard as many cryptos as we can, but then, you find something that's just super special like Texan. And so we do get really excited when we find good projects like this.
Awesome.
Well, I appreciate you coming on and sharing more about your project. It looks like folks can find you on Twitter. It's at rad #Paraworks. That's WERX, and that's the name on there. And but if you would like to drop it into the chat on YouTube, I'm sure people would be interested in looking at it more.
I'll drop it in there, but keep a close eye on us because we are filing our registration with the SEC in the next couple of weeks. So we hope to be the first SEC registered crypto as well.
Fantastic.
What's the link again? Can you drop it in the public?
Yeah, I actually shut down YouTube because I didn't want the echo chamber thing to happen. So I'll reopen the chat and drop it in there.
Because there's bad spellings. When people misspell, they go to the wrong site.
Totally. Exactly. But you can find us at paraworks.com. Very easy. PARAWERX, paraworks.com.
Yes.
And I'm
going to confirm that. Oh, you're going to throw it in the chat. Very good. Thank you so much. And guys, I think I'm going to go ahead and wrap up the evening. I wanted to offer everyone a moment to have some closing statements. So there was some very good information shared here, and I wanted to say thank you to everyone who is here and who has been providing insight to myself and the rest of the community. Rags, Riches, Crypto Compassion, Funding Jim, thank you all for being here. Shout out to everyone who's on the panel. But I wanted to start with Crypto Compassion. Is there anything that you would like to leave us with, or any words of wisdom you'd like to leave us with?
No real words of wisdom. I just want to encourage the community to continue to forge ahead. We're doing a great job, and I'm real excited about the future. And I just love being an encourager in the community, and I'm excited to be involved. So I thank you for what you guys are doing with Texan. It's bringing adoption to the Pulse chain and the things that we love. So keep it up, you guys.
Thanks, man.
Fantastic. Thank you, sir. Funding Jim, what you got for us, brother?
Kind of a rehash of what I said before, which is think, for the audience and for the panel, name to yourself 3 high agency people in your life. 3 people that if you were trapped in a third world prison, who would you call? Because that's typically the agency. It's not that they have social power, political power, money, wealth. It's a combination. It's basically a frame. And if you don't have 3 of those people in your life, find them, befriend them, and become one. I think that that's very important as we move forward.
Love it. There
I'm
it
going
is. Yeah.
to briefly share this because it is a very important. It was something that I thought was really awesome too. So weird teenage hobbies. I don't know that I'm high agency necessarily, but I have tons of weird hobbies. But there was a lot of these on the list, and it racked my brain a lot, and I wanted folks to be able to at least screenshot this and go to your page so they can see this for themselves. Gary Woods, aka Funding Jim at Funding Jim. You can see the tag up there at the top. Be sure to follow him. He's got a lot of very insightful knowledge, and he's been truly like a nice blessing in a way to myself and my crypto journey as well. So I want to give you a shout out there.
Thanks. Appreciate it.
Rags, what you got?
I don't have much. All right. Thanks for showing up, guys. I think that we need to talk about the bear anthem here, guys. It's important. And I don't think I've done it on Texan Tailgate yet. So the FUD is strong. The FUD is here. We don't care when FUD is near. Find a bear, hang them high. Find a bear, make them cry. When the going gets tough, you better hunker down and punch a bear or make them drown. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, thank you for coming on tonight. And I just had to say the bear anthem. And it's the same anthem we've been saying this whole damn time. But guess what? It ain't going to be a bear forever, folks. It ain't going to be a bear forever. We're turning this ship around. And we've all survived. We've all been here together this whole time. This has made us very strong, I think. And I know I'm kind of joking around, but not really. It's going to make us extremely resilient moving forward into the bull market, moving forward into years and decades to come, because we have so much experience now and we've suffered, and that brings wisdom. So good job, guys.
Awesome. I appreciate everyone being here. Shout outs to the chat. Thank you all. And I'll go through and try to comment on everybody who's posted on there. But until next time, if anyone wants to stick around in the green room, I'll be there. Thank you all for tuning in to Texan Tailgate. We out.